What's up, YouTube? JM Comics here, and we are less than 4 days away from Spider-Man No Way Home, the end of the Spider-Man Homecoming trilogy, and quite possibly the last Spider-Man movie. But obviously not, they're gonna make more. We already know Spider-Man 2 is coming, Spider-Verse 2 is coming, so it's not the last movie, but let's just assume it is, okay? In this video, I'm gonna go over the reasons why Spider-Man No Way Home will probably be a good movie, and why it will most likely be a bad movie. And yeah, like I said, I think it's gonna be bad over good, but it's gonna be interesting nonetheless. We'll see. Before I get to the video, remember to like, comment your opinion on Spider-Man No Way Home, even though you haven't seen it yet, down below, and subscribe. And also, once the movie comes out, no spoilers down there for people who haven't seen it. Or maybe wait a month and spoil it, okay? Let's get into the video. Here are the reasons why Spider-Man No Way Home will probably be a good movie. For one, the villains, obviously. We have many heavy hitters like Doctor Octopus, Green Goblin, and Electro. And they're not just any version of these characters, the versions we already have met. Like Green Goblin played by William Dafoe, and my favorite personally, Doctor Octopus played by Alfred Molina. And knowing this, we know for sure that these are going to be good performances and the characters are going to be good renditions of these characters. At least visually and performance wise. We don't know where the story is going to go with them. But I have a theory that Doctor Octopus will turn good. So we'll see what happens there. Another reason this movie is probably going to be good is it's a Marvel movie, so we know the visuals are going to be amazing, top notch. I don't think there's a single Marvel movie that's really ugly, like within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Possibly the end of the Eternals, like the after credit scene. I won't spoil it, but the after credit scene's kind of ugly there. But besides that, Marvel CGI tends to be really good looking and really high quality and top notch. So I wouldn't expect anything necessarily ugly or out of date, unless they want to go with that style for the Sam Raimi stuff, but we'll see. Another reason the movie will probably be good is that it's the first Marvel movie to truly dive into crossovers with other Marvel universes. For example, with WandaVision in the past, there was Quicksilver from the X-Men franchise, but as revealed at the end of that show, it's not actually Quicksilver, it's Ralph Bohner, some weird neighbor guy or whatever. And the Spider-Man Far From Home, Mysterio talked about the multiverse and how there's different universes, but we never got to see it. The closest thing we've gotten is Loki and the multiple universes and the variants and stuff. But even then, they're not universes we have already met or known before. This is the first Marvel movie that's really going to dive into the actual multiverse and other movie franchises, like the Sam Raimi trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And one of the final points for why this is probably going to be a good movie is technically just speculation, but the two Spider-Man actors from before, Andrew Garfield and Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, are rumored to be in this movie, and they probably leaked online already. I'm not gonna look it up, but if you want, go check it out or go see the movie. But considering they're in this movie, that is amazing. They're both great actors at Spider-Man. Everyone knows Tobey Maguire's version. He's so iconic, especially the train scene where he's like, looks constipated on the train, and all the emo Tobey Maguire, Bully Maguire memes, so iconic. And Andrew Garfield, while he's not as popular, I personally really like him as Spider-Man, and I think he has the best jokes as Spider-Man. He looks the part the most, and his Spider-Man does the most quips and jokes. So I'll give him that. So seeing them with Tom Holland, probably the best Spider-Man if we have to just come down to it, because he's a balance of both versions. This is probably gonna be an amazing movie, at least in terms of characters. Well, that's probably where all the good stuff ends. I mean, you could mention Doctor Strange, but that's not guaranteeing anything. Doctor Strange is a good character, but his movie wasn't the greatest, and he doesn't guarantee a good movie. Here are the reasons why this movie will probably, most likely, be bad, or at least incomplete feeling or rushed. Number one, this movie had a troubled production. I don't want to go into great detail about this over here right now, but the movie was not made in a timely manner. The script was written really, really fast, and it was supposed to come after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But since Doctor Strange 2 got pushed back to February, I think, yeah, February next year, maybe it was April, but the point is it got moved back next year, and they decided, instead of moving Spider-Man No Way Home back with it, to leave Spider-Man No Way Home where it was and rewrite the script so it's before Doctor Strange 2. And doing such really changes the story, at least from what we can tell. So the dimensions that are gonna open up are not caused by Doctor Strange's movie. So that's probably gonna feel a little bit jarring, a little bit incohesive, considering they had to rewrite the script. Additionally, the finale itself has been rumored to be rushed. Well, possibly ruined, because Tom Holland himself came out and said that they gave him the original version of the final scene to film, and he was like, I can't do this. So Tom Holland himself helped them rewrite it. So yeah, they changed the finale midway through production, midway through filming. That's how rushed this movie was. And just to add something else to that burning pile, Tom Holland, I'm sorry, there's so many Spider-Man actors. Tom Holland has come out and said that the Marvel writers, specifically John Watts, I guess, had written the script and planned everything out before they got the cast to come back. So they hadn't asked Alfred Molina, they hadn't asked Willem Dafoe, they hadn't asked Jamie Foxx to come back into the movie, but they wrote the script ahead of time anyway. So yeah, it's rushed. Okay, everything about this movie is rushed, and it doesn't feel like it was made with as much love and respect that something like Avengers Endgame was. Even though I don't like Endgame much, I'll admit it was a movie made with respect, and it focused on time and developing characters, or like using the characters we've already met. I don't know how this movie is gonna do that, considering how rushed it sounds and feels already from the trailers. Another reason why this movie could possibly suck is the story itself. The idea behind the story that a bunch of other universe Spider-Man villains come to fight Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man is really cool. But the execution in the trailer seems a little bit weird. Like, Peter Parker goes to Doctor Strange to undo his life, or undo people finding out about his identity. And it just seems a little bit out of character for Spider-Man. It makes sense for Doctor Strange, I guess. But, I mean, we know Peter's sort of a kid. I mean, he is a kid. And in Homecoming, it's very exemplified. But by Far From Home, he seems way more responsible. And it just doesn't seem right for him to go and want to undo all of this without thinking about repercussions. And Doctor Strange, I mean, it makes sense for his character considering he's a jerk. He's not responsible. He's very self-obsessed, self-absorbed. But at the same time, I mean, he's a Sorcerer Supreme and he's been through this for a while, I guess, at least 3 years. So how could he just let this happen? How could he cause this and, like, have no remorse? He can see the future. He's done it in Avengers Infinity War. Why would he do this? It doesn't make sense, okay? And additionally, it's just a dumb idea that Spider-Man was talking while Doctor Strange was casting a spell, and that's how we got to this. So, yeah, the plot itself seems a little bit shaky. And finally, this is the point I really want to emphasize. I'm scared that these villain characters are going to be ruined from their original movies and in the MCU. Here's what I mean by that. Let's take Dr. Octopus, for example. So Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus is one of the best Spider-Man villains, possibly best superhero villains, on screen of all time. But this movie wants to bring him back before his death and sort of redo his story, rehash his story. And who knows, maybe it's a different dimension, but it's probably the same dimension. I mean, come on. And in doing so, they're probably going to rush character development. They're going to rely on the audience's knowledge of another movie, which is kind of stupid. I hate how Marvel does that a lot. And the biggest point for me is that this not only ruins Raimi's version of Dr. Octopus, this could also ruin the MCU version of Dr. Octopus. We're never going to get an MCU Otto Octavius. And if we do, it's going to be a rehash of this Otto Octavius. If you understand what I'm trying to say here, we're not getting a Marvel Universe Dr. Octopus. We're getting a borrowed Sam Raimi Dr. Octopus. And that, I don't know, that just bothers me personally. Because I like speculating who's going to be cast as Doc Ock, who's going to be cast as Green Goblin. This works for all these characters. And it's probably the most, offensive to me with Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Because he's a very main Avengers villain. Go check out my video about Norman Osborn in the MCU. But considering he's a main Avengers villain and they're going to rush him like this and probably kill him off by the end of this movie, considering the trailers sort of show him dying. Like there's a bomb exploding. I'm assuming it's him. So, yeah, considering all of that, I don't know if this is going to be a good movie. I really want Norman Osborn in the MCU as a new version of the character. Not as a rehashed or a second version of the character in the Marvel Universe. So yeah, those are the main problems I have with the movie and why I think it's probably going to be one of the lesser Marvel movies. I hate to admit it. But at least in terms of hype levels, I'm really hyped for this movie. Venom, if Venom's in it, I'm going to love it even more, okay? I love the Venom movies. So if Venom's in this movie, I'm going to like it 10 times more than I already will like it. But even then, I just feel like it's going to be a low quality movie. But we'll have to just wait and see. So yeah. Yet again, remember to like, comment your thoughts about this movie or your theories about this movie down below, and remember to avoid spoilers, and subscribe for more superhero and Spider-Man content. JM Comics out.